Islam's f***ing huge.
A monster.
I talked to DC about it, and I said, hey man, his squeeze must... He goes, oh, dope. I had him demonstrate a choke on me. Dude! When he grabbed a hold of me, I was like, oh, this guy's gonna choke me. And that's DC.
Makhachev is crazy.
I'm the best fighter in the world.
He was the only one that would actually win rounds against Khabib. No one else could ever do that.
He's probably the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in all of the sport.
He's just Khabib with less charisma. It was disrespect. Real disrespect. There is a moment hardcore fans remember. At UFC Moscow, when Khabib and Islam sat down for a media Q&A, Khabib is getting question after question. And Islam? Nothing. He's sitting there quietly while journalists ignore him like he's invisible. Then something powerful happens.
У меня к исламу тоже вопрос. Идеально, как бы для тебя прошел бы следующий год, 2020, как бы ты его хотел бы провести, какие соперники ты бы выбрал бы себе поочередно, так скажем, начало года, середина и конец. Ну, как у фаната у меня к нему вопрос.
Не знаю, даже я хотел бы уже... У меня уже серия побед из 6 боев.
This is brotherhood. This is leadership. Khabib didn't give Islam spotlight. He forced the world to see him. That moment aged like fine wine.
How much does Khabib mean to you?
If he told me you have to stop tomorrow, no more fightings, I will listen.
Because the same man the media ignored back then is now one of the biggest superstars in the sport. This is Islam's story from being ignored at press conferences to the greatest record in UFC history.
Alhamdulillah, I know you got this, they don't like this. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy, guys.
When people talk about Islam Makhachev today, they think double champ, top pound for pound in the world, 16 fight UFC win streak, and one of the best to ever do it. Khabib says he saw it long before Islam ever became champion. Islam didn't just rise, he was predicted by Khabib, their coach, and most importantly by Abdulmanap.
I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said, Khabib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, you know, holy shit, it played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing.
16 consecutive wins in the UFC. One of the most dominant runs the sport has ever seen. Dana is in disbelief. Yeah, back then, almost nobody believed it. Today we're going back in time to the clips, the moments that show how Islam went from being Khabib's quiet teammate to becoming one of the greatest fighters of this era. Before the fans knew it, before the media knew it, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov already knew exactly how the future would unfold. And even the UFC president couldn't believe how accurate he was. Dana's not a man who gets impressed easily. He's been in this game longer than most fighters have been alive. And for him to say Abdulmanap's prediction played out exactly, that tells you everything.
Khabib would win, be dominant, and then he would step down and Islam would slide in. And it actually played out exactly the way his dad said it would, which never happened, ever. Right? You go to any gym in the world, they'll tell you this guy's going to be the world champion. Not only did his dad say that his son would be, he said that Islam would be too. Right. And he was absolutely right.
Completely.
For Abdulmanap, this wasn't a guess, this was a plan. Dana repeats the same thing twice, months apart, because even he realized this wasn't hype, it was destiny. But here is what most fans don't know. Khabib says he saw it long before Islam ever became champion, because Abdulmanap would tell him straight to his face, when your fire starts to fade, Islam will rise.
Islam was my father's favorite student. He was like very favorite student. I know I'm his son, and when I watch all students, Islam was his favorite student. And he always tell me, you're 3 years older than me, when you become champion, when you become a little bit full, your fire, your hunger a little bit go down, Islam gonna come up. I was like, what are you talking about? But right now, look, I was champion, I defend my title 3 times, I finish. Islam right now is like 10 win streak in UFC, one of the biggest win streak in UFC history. And I really believe I really believe he's gonna become champion. Why I talk about Islam? Because this is my father's legacy.
That line, Islam was my father's favorite student. People overlooked it, but it reveals everything. Abdulmanap wasn't trying to create one champion. He was building a dynasty, a system, a line of champions that would carry his legacy long after he was gone. And Islam was at the center of that. Now we rewind to 2020. Nobody was talking about Islam, not the media, not the fans, not even the UFC. Islam was the guy behind Khabib. Quiet, unknown, ignored. But Khabib saw what was coming.
Now people talk about Chandler, Oliveira, Dustin, Conor, Gaethje. Like my opinion, like end of the year, beginning of next year, it's gonna be Islam Makhachev. Maybe people think, oh, I'm just promoting. No, it's like I know how good this kid and everybody who ever compete with him, like inside the cage, like or on the mats, like wrestling, grappling, sparring, they know this. Like you can talk with a lot of UFC fighters, like who, like for example, Leon Edwards or Kamaru Usman. This is welterweight guys like DC, me, like a lot of guys who ever compete with these guys. They know if nothing happen, like Islam gonna be 2022, he's gonna be best lightweight in the world.
Khabib wasn't promoting him, he was warning everyone. When the greatest lightweight of all time says, ask anyone who has trained with him. They know how serious he is. That's not promotion. That's truth. The media didn't listen. But Islam was always there. Before the belts, before the headlines, before the legacy talk. If you look back at Khabib's biggest moments, Islam is always behind him. Backstage, locker rooms, walkouts, always supporting. And most fans had no idea who he was. Look at the comments now. People go back to these videos and say, bro, we never realized Islam was right there the whole time. History was walking behind Khabib and we didn't even know. This is the perfect example of nobody cared, nobody noticed, and now they rewind the clip just to spot Islam. Everything Abdulmanap predicted came true. Everything Khabib fought for in Abu Dhabi, it finally happened.
My belt.
Are we watching just another champion, or are we watching UFC history? That wasn't just championship win, it was a promise fulfilled, a prophecy becoming reality. Islam didn't put the belt on his own shoulder, he put it on Khabib's shoulder, because he knew this championship wasn't his alone. It belonged to Abdulmanap, to Khabib, to Dagestan, to the legacy they built together.
Исламе слово, если она не приветствуется. Если у меня было бы так, если у меня было это, если...
Я понимаю.
Если это, если. Мы имеем то, что мы имеем. И то, что сейчас ислам, иншаллах, да, достигнет, это будет не только для нашей команды, это будет для всего спорта и для всего российского ММА. Это будет огромный успех.
Да, безусловно.
В будущем люди, дети, подрастающее поколение будет на него смотреть, равняться, набрать пример. Это будет огромный, скажем, такой топ-лево для
подрастающего.
Для них это будет очень большой шаг. Очень многие люди будут этому следовать, хотят стать таким. Так что в данный момент мы на стадии того, что Ислам записывает историю.
Think about it. This is the same fighter who was once ignored by media, overlooked by fans, doubted by analysts. And today, he's a two-weight world champion, tied with Anderson Silva's 16-fight win streak, top pound for pound in the world, on the short list for greatest of this generation. Islam Makhachev is no longer Khabib's teammate. He is Islam, champion, legacy carrier, and one day, people will talk about his predictions too.